Hi, my name is Divan Kavend Karnataka, Store ID K250309. Today I am going to present tutorial 7 for CLBE4 Cloud and Beyond. The main topic of my presentation is cloud risk management. In this presentation, I will discuss 6 main areas. These are the cloud ecosystem, managing information security risk at the ecosystem level, the risk management framework, risk management activities and framework steps, the cloud provider's risk management process, and finally the step involved in adopting cloud-based solution. Cloud computing provides many benefits such as scalability, flexibility, cost saving, and access to advanced technologies. However, moving data applications to the cloud also creates security, privacy, and operational risks. Therefore, organizations need a structured way to understand and manage these risks. This slide shows the 6 main areas that I will cover. First, I will explain the cloud ecosystem, including cloud actors and their responsibilities. Second, I will discuss how organizations can manage information security risk at the ecosystem level. Third, I will explain in the risk management framework, also called RMF. Fourth, I will explain the main risk management activities and the 6 RMS steps. Fifth, I will discuss the cloud provider's risk management process. Finally, I will explain the steps an organization should follow when adopting a cloud-based solution. The main idea connecting all those topic is that an organization should understand the risk, responsibilities, and security controls before moving important system or information to the cloud. First, I will discuss the cloud ecosystem. A cloud ecosystem can be understood as a network of different cloud actors, services, system responsibilities, and data flows that work together to provide cloud services. Important actors include the cloud consumer, cloud provider, and cloud broker. The cloud consumer is the person or organization that uses the cloud service. The cloud provider develops, operates, and manages the cloud infrastructure or service. A cloud broker may act between the consumer and provider and help manage or coordinate the service. The ecosystem also includes networking, virtualization, data application, security controls, and service level agreement or SLAs. An important point of that security responsibility does not belong to only one organization. For example, the provider may be responsible for some infrastructure security controls, while the consumer may still be responsible for user access, sensitive data, and application configuration. Because these sectors depend on each other, risk management needs to consider the whole cloud ecosystem rather than looking at the only one system organization. Each cloud actor must also consider the acceptable level of risk and risk tolerance. In slide 4, I will explain how information securities can be managed at the ecosystem level. There are 4 important areas. The first is assigning responsibilities. Every cloud actors should clearly understand which risk management tasks they are responsible for within each organization. Responsibility should also be assigned to senior leaders, executives, and other representatives. The second area is establishing risk tolerance. The organization needs to decide the amount of risk and prepare to accept. The risk tolerance should also be communicated through the service level agreement or SLA between the consumer and provider. The third area is continuous monitoring. Cloud environment can change quickly, so organizations need near real-time monitoring to identify threats, incidents, and new security risks. The fourth area is information sharing and accountability. Cloud actors should communicate information about incident, threat, risk decision, and security solutions. The overall objective is to protect the 3 main areas of information security: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Organization can also use recognized security standards and controls such as NIST SP 850 and ISO IEC 2701 and 2702. After security controls are applied, any remaining risk is known as residual risk. The organization should determine whether this residual risk within the acceptable risk tolerance. In slide 5, I will explain the risk management framework. The RMF provides a disciplined and structured approach for integrating information security risk and management into the system development life cycle. Risk management should not be something that happens only after security problem occurs. Instead, it should be integrated throughout organization planning, system development, security control, implementation, and ongoing operation. These are step 1 categorize, step 2 select, step 3 implement, step 4 assess, step 5 authorize. Step 6 monitor. This step creates continuous security life cycle. The framework helps organizations make cloud decisions based on security risk and evidence instead of choosing cloud services only because it's cheaper, faster, or more convenient. In slide 6, I will explain each of the 6 RMF stages. Step 1 categorize. The organization categorizes the information system and the information that is processed is stored or transmitted based on its potential impact. It also identifies operational performance, security, and privacy requirements. Step 2 is select. The organization select appropriate baseline security controls based on the system categorization. The controls may then be modified or supplemented according to the organization risk assessment and operating environment. A strategy for continuous monitoring is also developed. Step 3 is implement. The selected security controls are implemented and the organization document how they operate within this information system and cloud environment. Step 4 is assess. The organization evaluates whether the control have been implemented correctly and whether they are effective. Step 5 is authorize. The organization decide whether the remaining risk is acceptable. If the risk is acceptable, the information system can be authorized for operation. Finally, step 6 is monitor. The organization continuously monitors security control system changes and security events. An important point is that these six steps should operate part of or parallel with the system development life cycle. In slide 6, the six RMF steps can also be grouped into the three broader management activities. These are risk assessment, risk treatment, and risk control. Risk assessment, which may include step 1 and 2. During risk assessment, an organization analyzes the cloud environment, identifies vulnerabilities, examines the impact of system, and determines its security requirements and controls. In simple terms, risk assessment risk. What could go wrong? How serious could it be? The second activity is risk statement. Risk statement involves implementing security controls, assessing whether they work correctly, and determining whether remaining risk is acceptable. The third activity is risk control. Risk control involves continuous monitoring, reviewing security events, identifying changes, adjusting security policies where necessary. Slide 8. The risk management framework can be also applied specifically to cloud ecosystem. This is sometimes described as RFOS or risk management frame for a cloud system. A cloud consumer needs to understand entire ecosystem that supports the information system. First, the consumer should assess the risk associated with its data privacy requirement and system impact. Next, I should select an appropriate cloud architecture. This may involve choosing between public, private, hybrid, or community cloud, as well as selecting between IaaS, PaaS, or SaaS. Slide 9. I will discuss a cloud provider's risk management process. Cloud providers develop architectures and services that include cooperational features as well as security and privacy controls. Providers normally design their services for a large number of consumers, so their service usually include standard baseline set a control with limited customization. When selecting and implementing controls, providers need to consider their effectiveness and efficiency. They also need to consider applicable law, regulation, policies, and security standards. The limitation is that when the provider designs their system, they cannot know exactly what type of information every future customer will store in the cloud. Therefore, their standard controls may not always be enough for every organization. The cloud consumer needs to be determined whether those controls suitable for its own data sensitivity, business requirements, and regulation may. So to conclude, computing provides organization with important benefits, but it also introduces security, privacy, and operational risk. A cloud ecosystem contains several connected actors, and security responsibilities can be shared between consumers, providers, and brokers. Therefore, organizations need to manage risk across the entire ecosystem. The risk management framework provides structured process to six steps: categorize, select, implement, assess, authorize, and monitor. These steps support the three broad activities of risk assessment, risk treatment, and risk control. Cloud consumers also need to evaluate the security posture providers, understand shared responsibilities, negotiate appropriate SLS, and continuously monitor the cloud environment after migration. Therefore, the main lesson I learned from this topic that organizations should not adopt cloud computing only because it is cheaper, easier, or more convenient. A cloud solution should be adopted when the organization understands the ecosystem, evaluates the risk, verifies the security control, determines the remaining risk is acceptable. Thank you.